Okay, good afternoon, guys. Hope everyone is well. Okay, so Wednesday, halfway through the week already. I can't say the weeks just fly, don't they? So, Harminder, how you doing, buddy? Fingers crossed. There's always the sun above the clouds. Absolutely. Interesting to know what's going to happen today. What's how you doing, pal? Kev, how you doing, bud? Exponential, you're early. I'm a little bit. What is it? Oh yeah, only a couple of minutes. Only a couple of minutes. Okay, just having a quick browse at the daily. So as we know, we were in this downtrend, and then we had this overshoot, and then it rocketed up, trapped some shorts there, triggered and pushed up. So we've had a really strong. Yesterday was a really strong day. It's been a while since we've had a candle that big and that bullish. We didn't have to rocket off. Obviously, we had some. Was it the CPI data? Was that today? CPI data was on the positive side. Must have been. So now we've had this overshoot and this push out the other side. There's obviously a possibility we could have a bit of a pullback here because we seem to have pushed up. We have had, so we could have a bit of a pullback and then continue higher, or we could come back and retest it. It's been hard to know what's going to go on today. Hey, Speedy Bud, how you doing, mate? So obviously there. When we trapped that short, I think that was pretty obvious. We were going to push up after, that was asking to be stopped out after this overshoot. So, big strong day yesterday. So, I'd be surprised if we had a strong day as we did yesterday. We have had a little push up and come back. So, not sure. Indy, how you doing, bud? It's hard to say what kind of a day we could have a pullback. A lot of times as we go up. And we pull back apart, this type of thing. So who knows? I'm not sure what's going to happen. So we could, but I would expect a bit of a pullback anyway. So I would expect maybe a possible drop out of here, down here somewhere. I don't know. I was just messing around with that there, but we've had a bit of a break because that kind of fitted everywhere really. I thought leg down, we may get another leg down, which would make sense on the daily, a little bit of a pullback, but I don't know. As you can see anyway, I've got another PA account here. Well, I wanted to have two, really, because I can just focus and concentrate on building those two up until I can get a payment comfortably each month. Then with what I withdraw, then I can add to it. I'll probably add to it 3 at a time, something like that. So, it's good news. So, Who else? Someone else was having a PA today. Well, or was it some? They just passed an evaluation yesterday. I don't know whether they've done the 7 days or not, but it seems to be getting quicker and quicker. I had mine. Thanks. Good job, Indy. Are you talking to Indy? What did he say? What have I missed? So thanks to Apex for getting out quick. That's all I'm doing. Great. Just put my first payout request. Only 500. It's a payout. But it still feels good. Yeah. Is it your first, bud? Is it your first? My plan is to just have the 2, and then when I manage to get a payment, add 3 to it and build up slowly. I think going for lots, for me personally, it just adds that extra weight on your shoulders. So slow and steady. So we do seem to be bouncing off here. Let's see what happens when we come back up there. But there we go. So first one, excellent. Your first one's your nicest. I still remember my first one. I didn't give a crap whether the account broke or not. I just wanted the money. But to be honest with you, it sounds like you're doing the sensible thing. You're taking a small amount but leaving enough in there for a cushion. So good for you, mate. I think a lot of people, when they get their first payment, don't give a damn whether they blow the account or not. They just give me the $2,000. So good for you, mate. Good for you. Hopefully the first of many, I'm pretty sure. So what's going on here? There is a possible 2 legs up there. My only slight concern with going short there is into all this. So it's something I just can't personally take. I think there's a good chance of coming down below this based on the daily, but who knows? What do I know? So let's reload historic before someone reminds me I've forgotten. So yeah, we did have. I think that was because of the news. It must have been around. Yeah. We had some. What do we have? PPI. What was it? PPI. So I don't know how. I know we had our numbers out in the UK. Okay, markets open. Our inflation numbers were down from 6 point something% to 4 point something%. So that is a big drop for us. Inflation dropped by a fraction over 2%. So we're probably double over where we like to be. So my lag has just rocketed up. And why is that? I have that bit of software that should stop that. Oh dear. Right, where's this bit of software? Where is it? I bet I can't find the damn thing now. Hey, Danish. Anybody know where? Oh, it's dropped. Okay, maybe just because we opened. Okay. Just keep an eye on that lag. If it does get high, you need to get it down, really, because that'll add some slippage to you. And if you're trading multiple accounts, it could cause you problems. It's dropped back down, that has, but I did download a bit of software. Someone else remind me if you can think what that bit. It's going up again. What was that bit of software we all downloaded? Do you remember a few months back that zeroed it out? It's going up again. Get down. What was it called? Oh, someone remind me. Does anybody remember? What do you think about having disposable PAs? Disposable. Click on. Yeah, I've just done that, bud. I clicked on it there and click adjust time and date and then sync. It stopped doing that at time sync. That was it. It stopped doing it. It used to work perfectly, but I downloaded this software that someone mentioned, time sync. Let's see if it goes again. Let's see if I can find it. Time sync. I'll answer your question in a bit, bud. Time sync. Time sync. Let's have a look. Okay. Open. Has that worked? I just opened it. As long as it stayed down, it might just because of the initial open, but it's not done that for a while. See, I found time sync, but then it's there. But what do I do with it? Just keep an eye on it. Okay, let's have a look. Disposable PAs. What I will say is, up until now, I would say, excuse me a sec. I would say up until now, nearly all mine have been disposable because I think what you're saying is get it to $2,600, take $2,000. Take a risk. If it fails, bin it, then start a fresh one. So you're just taking one after another and getting payments. I'm assuming that's what you... It did cross my mind once before, would it work? I don't know how Apex would view that. I don't know. I can't see it being a problem, but... I don't know, really. I've not really got a comment on that. It's hard to say without thinking about it. Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't know what anybody else thinks about that one. I don't really know how to answer that one. I get what you're saying. The 50th possible will take another 30 days, so I think 25K here. Trade one contract up to $1,600 and withdraw or cancel before renewal. Yeah, so if you're paying $80, I mean, you could do that. Just scale up another contract. It's a tough one, that. I don't really know how to answer that, to be honest with you. I know what you're saying. I've not thought too much about it. It has crossed my mind. I don't know whether Apex will put up with that for long. I can't see why. there's nothing that says you have to keep them. There's just something that says you've got to, you can't flip them, and technically you're not flipping them. I mean, I suggest quite a few people do that anyway. I don't think you're on your own there, so could you make money doing it? I suppose so. Trouble is, you'd have to do an evaluation, which takes 7 days, and then you'd have to trade for a month. Do you know what I mean? See, technically, if you get that account to double that, say $3,200, you can take $1,600 out of it, trade it for a month, and then take another $1,600, so you can continue to do it without having to pay and do an evaluation and pay another $85 fee. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's better to have it and be able to withdraw from it every month. Initially, the first 1, 2, or maybe 3, you're probably likely going to get your money and run, and that's fair enough. I did the same. Yeah, I think what's right. It does seem like double the work. I'd say get it to 3,200, take 1,600, and then trade it for another month. And if you can get another 1,600, take another 1,600, and it saves you having to do another evaluation and pay another $85 fee. So I'd say, yeah, you're better off to try and hold them if you can. I think the first 1 or 2 I'll just write off, because as soon as you hit $2,600, we all know you've been fighting for it long enough, and you're just going to get your money, and rightly so. And why shouldn't you? You know what I mean? To pay, yeah, you'd have to pay a lifetime. But what I will say is that if every month you're aiming to get $1,600, you've then got to pay an evaluation fee, let's call it $30 for argument's sake, and $85. So every single month on each account, if you're doing that on multiple accounts, you've got to pay another $110, say, every month. That's for another evaluation and another PA account. That's assuming you pass the evaluation first time. So I'd say you're better off holding on, getting that up to double 1,600, taking a $1,600, and then just trading it for the next month and taking another one. Otherwise, you're going to save yourself $120, $130 a month, I'd say. So let's have a look what's going on here. Get a higher low here, we'll see. The second month on a 25.50, you're better off. Yeah. So I'd say you're better off. I know what you're saying, though. It's definitely something to think about. Would it work that way? Trouble is, you've then got the pressure. See, what I'll say is, when you get an account up and that balance starts to grow, that pressure starts to lift a little bit, because you know you've got a cushion. Whereas if you're trading the same every month, you know what I mean, you haven't got that cushion. So, that's my thoughts anyway. So, what's going on here? So, we're definitely going a bit sideways. Be interesting to see what happens after yesterday. So, I don't know about that. So, we have got a little bit of support resistance there. You can clearly see that. So I'm going to leave that there at the moment, because that's playing. This is the only thing I had differently than Max, really. I think it's useful to be aware of these, because you can see bounce come down, bounce come down, bounce come down, bounce come down. Would you want to go long into that? That's why I think these are useful. This is the second chance after this, or maybe the third if you count that, but took that second entry long on a limit order for 8 ticks. That one there, yeah, I kind of like the bar. I didn't notice this. I'd say there's a fair chance now that's above there. It's probably going to hit this level. It could go even higher, who knows. Yeah, I like the bar in all fairness. But yeah, a limit order, sensible. Save a couple of ticks, because that is probably going to be 3 1/4. With a tick above, tick below. If you can shave a couple off that, even better. It went up sideways, a little bit of a pullback. Maybe trap some shorts coming off this support. Yeah, I kind of like that. I didn't take it because it didn't seem like 2 legs to me. And I could see there was a bit of resistance there. Let's see if it makes a difference. it's the lower key entry point if you connect the tops. Yeah. So usually connect the tops will be the sort of the lesser option, or the least important option. Does it work with the, or is that what you mean? Yeah, it's not that bad actually. See what happens here. What I think, sometimes that position becomes stronger if it makes a pullback, but it doesn't take the stop out. Baby squid, I'm holding long from the 1417 candle. 1417. Oh, down here. How long you holding to the top here? If this is bounced off this, I'd be inclined to put mine there personally, but yeah, see that stop's gone now. So that's my slight issue, where you can see resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, small breakout, pull straight back. So it could come back to this line if you think. We went up, came straight back to this line, so it may come straight back. You was aiming for 1 to 6. God, you're greedy. Good for you, mate. Balls of steel. In all fairness, that's where I'd love to be, so good for you, mate. So that's the buy you took, I'm guessing, yeah. So 1 to 6. So what was the risk? 2.5 points, something like that, but yeah. My slight concern is now we've hit this line, it may come back to the bottom. I hope it's just 2 legs. 1 to 1. I'm not sure what you mean there. Stop got hit. Oh, good. Okay, so your stop was up here. That's good. Excellent. You got 1 to 1. That's brilliant. Yeah, that's good, mate. I tell you what, if you can get 1 to 1 and then whack your stop up there and guarantee some money and let it go, good for you, mate. I think that sounds like a sensible way of making money to me. Why can't I? What's going on here? Oh, right, okay. Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, I'm guessing this could come back down to here. It seems to be liking that area. See, there is a possibility of a leg. Break new low, 1, 2 attempts to go higher. We could break out here. That's a possibility. So let's just put that there. No, let's put it there. No, it's got to go there really, isn't it? Okay, I think it's irrelevant anyway once if we do get below. But yeah, we got a leg down. 1 attempt to go higher, 2. Yeah. Ideally, that's what I'd like to build up to, 1 to 1. Anything else is a bonus. But yeah, I don't think that was a bad place to take a trade, that. And we're clearly struggling to get through. You can see it there, see it there and along there. It's definitely holding prices. So I'm assuming you had your stop here, did you, bud? I suppose it's probably the most relevant place. Hi, Lance. Greetings from Morocco. How you doing? Constantly watch your stream. Just been struggling with the psychological side. Good luck. You're doing great. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Yeah, let me ask you a question. What size account are you trading, and what sort of contracts size are you risking? I might be able to help you out with something that's helped me. Okay, leg down. I think there's a possibility of a break here. Call it a hunch. So I would say that is probably somewhere along the lines of that, maybe. I don't know. Let's see if there's a possibility of something here. Another little pull-up would be nice. Possible gap fill on the... Is that 5 minute? On the 5 minute, yeah. Trey, I took your advice, Lance, and stuck to 1 contract. And it has helped a lot. Good for you, mate. It does. See, any advice I give here is just things that I found. You know, I'm no more advanced than you guys. You know, there's a lot of you who are way more advanced than me. There's some of you newer than me, but it's the one thing that I'd always avoided, and it's the only thing, excuse me, that seems to have helped me. So, good for you, mate. Be fast, 50 grand account. Keeps jumping on bad trades and revenge trading. Yeah, you'll do that. You will do that. And that's part of it. How many contracts do you risk, mate? Answer me that. Okay, possibly. Second entry short here, possibly. I don't like the fact that it's... let's have a look. When it came off here, it came back to the bottom. When it came off here, it came back to the bottom. That for me is a little bit far away than I like it. It is a second entry short. It will probably come down, but the way that's ticked below there and starting to push up, that to me looks like a possible trap. It may work. It more than likely will. But I don't like it. I'd have preferred that quite a bit closer to the top here, so I'm just staying out of that one. But it does look like it's working. Yeah, just be fast. Let me know how many contracts you're trading, whether you're trading 2 or anything like that. But yeah, I can't tell you how many times I did that. Normally 1 contract when losing. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? I think... How long have you been trading for? Let me know how long you've been trading for. Let's have a look. How far has this come down? So you'd have just got a 1.5 there so far. 1.5 years. Okay. It's not a long time, to be honest with you, so I wouldn't be too concerned with what you're doing. I think what you're doing is natural. And I think if you ask anybody on here, they've all gone through it, going through it, or about to go through it. It's pretty normal. And from what I can gather, the research I've done, everybody goes through that stage because 1, you lack the confidence that you can do it yourself. 2, you probably lack a bit of skill at the moment, which is why you continue to lose a bit. So that's going to create some frustration with you. And when you're frustrated, you tend to battle with the market. So I'd say what you're doing is pretty normal. You know, as we've all heard before, our brains really, we're not sort of designed to be natural traders. We don't kind of work that way. We tend to panic and we lose something. We want our money back. And if something doesn't go our way, we tend to get frustrated. And unfortunately, in the trading world, that creates a problem. And that's where you tend to blow accounts. And I've blown many of them. Evals and PAs. So it's just something, and I've described it this way before, it's something you will just start to get better at. So, and I've mentioned this many times, you imagine a young guy goes to, takes out boxing. I always use that analogy, the boxing ring. You get into a boxing ring now, and if you're not a boxer, you've never done it before, and you get into a ring, you're not going to think what you're doing. You're going to be panicked, frustrated. You get hit, and you're going to start swinging like crazy. You can't deal with that emotional existence. But if you continue to go to that boxing club week after week and get into that ring and deal with those emotions, you'll get better at it. It's common sense. You look at a guy who's been boxing for 3 months and look at a guy who's been boxing for 3 years. The guy in the ring that's been there for 3 years, that's done it many times, is going to be a lot calmer, a lot less panicked, and he's going to be able to control his emotions. And that goes exactly the same for anything that brings up strong emotions. You start jumping out of a plane for fun. First time, you're going to almost shit yourself. I know because I've done it. But then the more you do it, the less those emotions affect you, and you'll start to get control. But unfortunately, in my honest opinion, and I fully believe this is just something you just have to keep trying, and eventually it'll get better. You'll do it less and less. And also, as you're going through all this, your skill level is getting better and better and better. So sooner or later, the balance will tip the other way, and you'll start to be able to get trapped less, so you'll get frustrated less. So it is a case of, the skill levels aren't quite there yet. You're getting frustrated, and that causes you to sort of lash out, and that's where you tend to go wrong. So I wouldn't be too concerned about it, mate. It's just something most people go through. Well, I think everyone goes through. Everyone, I think, has revenge traded at some point. Woot said no. What's that? Are you talking about something else now? Oh, he's talking about something else, I think. Ask anybody. Everybody has done some sort of revenge trading. I saw a comment on one of the Apex groups about 6 or 7 months ago, and someone said, I've just blown my 20th PA account, and some guy said, I used to trade with Daryl Martin on Lilu, and he blew way more than that. And Daryl Martin now, as we know, is a good trader. He's also the CEO of Apex. So it doesn't matter who you are, we all go through that, and it's trying to train that brain to be able to make the decisions that a trader makes. So stick with it, bud. Excuse me a second. So yeah, I won't worry about it. Just stick with it. Okay, so that one did work in the end. A little bit nerve-wracking, but it did come down. So leg. This is where I think we're going to get a break. So, what am I missing here? Okay, something different, isn't it? Yeah, Nutty Bar Trader is really good with that sort of stuff. Which stuff? What are you on about? Okay. Let's have a look. Let's see what that's doing. Let's have a little look. Has anybody got a payout coming today, by the way? It's payday, isn't it, for some? Okay, that to me is a risk, and rightly so. For me, we're coming down, I think. So if you took that one, you're about to get stopped out, I think. I hope you didn't. What did it make? Yeah, you wouldn't have got a point out of it, I don't think. You may have done just. But I did mention this looks an area where we're going to have a break because of this. We've got a leg down, couple of attempts to go higher, and another leg down. And it's also broken into two there. So I think we're going to get down to at least there, at least down here. But I think lightly, we're going to break the lows, I think. Excuse me. So I think this is going to turn into that pullback that I think it does look like it's going to have a pullback. It's gone up a little bit, but after that big strong push yesterday and we've broken above there, I think it's natural we're going to have a little bit of a pullback. It may not be much on here, but it could be quite a bit. So let's have a look. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we had 20 to 30%, 20 to 30 point pullback. Certainly, I mean, 20 points is there. That's nothing, is it, on this? So there is a possibility. We'll see. Thanks, mate. I really like how you significantly shared to change and overcome. Yeah, it does take time, bud. It does take time. Don't. But when you do blow these accounts, try not to beat yourself up. I was sat here, and don't do what I do. I punched one of my screens and threw it out the window once, and I've actually punched myself in the jaw out of pure anger and frustration. So try not to do that. because I had an achy jaw for a couple of days. As stupid as it sounds, I just got that flipping frustrated. You lash out, so my monitor suffered. But I reckon that's why traders have got lots of monitors, because they tend to go through a few. But yeah, don't fight it, mate. The key to this is screen time. Max said it before, and I absolutely 110% agree. The more time you spend on these screens, you will naturally get better and you'll get more confident. When your confidence and skill levels start to climb, you won't feel the need to revenge trade. You revenge trade mainly out of frustration because you're angry, you're frustrated, it hasn't gone your way, you've lost your money. But when your skill level gets up and you know, actually, I can do this and I know what's going on, that'll just start to just fade away. It will. But there is a high failure rate, and that is the reason why. So in my opinion, if you just stick to it, you'll do well. Okay, there is a higher low there, but I think that's a trap because I think this is coming down a bit lower. So if you took that higher low, I'd say you're going to get stopped out, unfortunately. After this leg down and a couple of attempts to go higher, I think we're coming down here, one leg, two legs, so at least here. If you are in that, I hope it doesn't, but I think it might do. I can't see it coming down to there, a couple of ticks away and not stop that bar out. But there is a possibility of a double trap. It could trigger that one and push up. But my thoughts are down. There's a stop there and a stop there, and that would take us down to at least the open. Quite likely this, but I hope it doesn't. I hope I'm wrong, because I think there's going to be some traders who take that. Oh, you might get away with it. Second entry short. It didn't trigger anyway. No, see, I mean, look at the moment. Price is holding. I know we're down low, but we're going to break out at some point, and that looks like a leg to me. One with a couple of attempts to go higher. I'm seeing this coming down. I'm not that confident, otherwise I'll be trading it. That one there. But this is just my thoughts. Some people say I talk a load of shit, so don't take them with a pinch of salt. I've got this area of support, but Delta is saying down. Yeah, it's just looking bearish to me. I mean, look at that now. There is a second entry short there. I don't think that's a bad bar, but it is congested there, so it just adds to the risk. I ain't taking that. It is congested, but price is being held under there, but you just don't know. Because of this congestion, it could just do a flip. Yeah, okay, so that short didn't trigger. That one worked, but I had a feeling that might happen because it's congested. It don't know if it makes a difference. Sometimes when it's congested, it turns into Trap City. So that one is still triggered. I wouldn't be surprised if it turned and came down now. So if you took that higher low, let me see where you're likely to get out. I think most people are going to take 1.5 points or more. So you might be right there. Yeah, for sure. 2 points, excellent. Okay, so if you did take that higher low, good on you, because I bet your knees were knocking when this happened. I read that in the 2040 Q&A that Mac did. He talks to himself while trading. It helps him make think of you. I'm the type of person that thinks out aloud. I sort of talk about what I'm seeing, and it does help. Now, if I read a book, now I tend to listen to audiobooks, but if I read a book, I take it in better if I read out aloud. So I guess that makes me special. Probably not in a good way. But sometimes if I hear myself say it, I hear it, but you know what I mean? As opposed to listening, I tend to hear it more. But yeah, that's why I think streaming suits me, because I talk to myself anyway. You know, if I've got something on my mind, sometimes I'll talk through scenarios. I'll generally do it when there isn't anybody else in the house, otherwise you look like a bit of a tit. But I have been walking down the street in the past, chuntering to myself, and someone's walked past me with a big grin on their face. So if you are one of those people who do it, don't do it when there's anyone else around. But yeah, it helps me think clearer. So, and I think it's a lot of you guys like it as well, because you can, you know, hear my thought process. It's always good to know what other people are thinking. You know, when you see someone's chart that they post, you got no idea what their thought process is. So, you know, it works for me. And if you guys get something out of it, happy days. See, leg and a leg. It didn't make a full leg, did it? No. See, it's looking like it could trap there. That's why I didn't really want to get involved. I know Nutty has a piece of software called, someone I'm sure someone will say, it actually physically stops you trading. Yeah, I think you set it up so you can only adjust things between a certain window. So after the, you know, after you finish for the day, if you say I want it to finish at, say, I don't know, 2 o'clock, that's it, Guardian Angel. If you wanted to, say, for instance, I usually trade from 2:30 till 5:30 in the UK, so I can set it up that I can't change anything. I set it up to not allow any trades after, say, 6 o'clock. It stops me doing it. So I've got to wait then till the following day to be able to do it. So that might help. I haven't used it yet because I didn't want to feel that I was that out of control that I needed to do that. So I thought I would just reduce to one contract first. And if that doesn't work, then maybe able to use it. I think it's $350, I think. But the trouble is, if you're in that frame of mind that you're going to do that anyway, you know, will you continue to use it, or will you, I don't know. I don't know. I was a bit on the fence there, but I thought I'd reduce it first, and it seems to work for me. So... that could possibly go down a little bit more. Let's have a look. To there, maybe. Touching a few times there. 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's leave it there for now. I still think it's coming down a bit more. I do. It's looking bearish to me. Martin, so would also stop you if you would actually see a good setup. Yeah, I think what it is, if you trade, let's say you trade between a 3-hour window, and I think if I'm assuming a lot of you are like me, I would finish for the day and get the urge to come back. And that's where, you know, I think only once in the last 10 months since I've been streaming have you guys seen me go on tilt. Most of the time I go on tilt are after hours when I close down. So what you could effectively do is set your window between a certain time, start time, and a certain finish time. So after that certain time, it won't allow you to take trades. So if you're walking away with a $200 loss, you know, you go away, you have your dinner, and you think, oh, you know, you get that urge, I want my money back. I might just go and have a little look. I've done it all myself. But it doesn't allow you to do that, and you can't adjust those times until the market opens the following day. So I think it's designed when you finish your trading window for the day, It stops you from trading. There are a bunch of things you can do on it. You can also set maximum amounts as well. So if you hit a certain amount, it'll cut you off. So, but it's called, what is it? Yeah, Guardian Angel it's called. So just go and have a look, or do a little bit of, I think Nutty's made a video on it, I think. Don't really like, no, I don't either. I think one thing for me is I don't like the fact, if I'm that out of control that I can't control myself, I'm gonna stop it or not, not start it today or something. I don't know, but I don't like the fact that something controls me that much that I have to get some sort of piece of software to take over my brain making decisions. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe it'll work to get you out of a habit. If you've got a habit and coming back to the market after so let's say you've done your 3 hours and, there's a few hours left, isn't there? You go away, have your lunch or whatever, and come back. It might stop you from doing it just to maybe break a habit. It may help. I don't know. It's a personal thing, but I thought, it's not something I want to go down that road just yet. I want to be able to control myself, if you know what I mean. So I then decided to come down to one contract, reduce the stress, makes sense, and obviously, hopefully, then keep some of my, retain some of my decision making process. So I think we're going to break lower than this. I think we're going to make another leg down. I could be completely wrong. And the way this is pushing up like a second entry long, trouble is it is congested, so you've got to be a bit careful there. Yeah, as tempting as that is, as a second entry long, high low, you're right into the highs anyway, and it could trigger you. It probably will push up, but I don't know. Chad, how you doing? Can you set a specific number of trades and stop? I've not looked into it too much, but I believe it's really adjustable. So yeah, have a look at it, mate. Have a look at it. But I from what I looked at it and when I heard Nutty talk about it in his video, I thought it's got a lot of features, that. So I'd definitely look into it. Michael B, my new habit is if I'm not 100% sure about the market on myself, I trade one micro. That sounds like a good habit, Michael. Yeah, you have to be sure about it. I think now I can pretty much look at something and go, I don't like it. Something doesn't look right, and I tend to leave it alone. But yeah, I think it's good to be sure. I mean, you're never 100% sure, but I like to think if I take a trade, I think good trades work 98% of the time, really good setups. But I'm yet to see a trade not work, and I can't figure out why it didn't work. But yeah, that sounds like a good habit, that, Michael. In fact, I did that for a while, not quite a while back. I used to trade 2 contracts, and if I thought it was a bit risky, or if I had, say, 4 PA accounts and I thought it might not be as high, I just used to trade one of the accounts. So I think it's a good habit to get into. That it just takes away that risk, as if but yeah, as your skill level gets better, you'll naturally. Actually, I kind of like that. It is a bit congested, but I did hear someone say it's okay to trade congestion as long as you know what you're doing, and that looks like 2 legs, and it's clearly working up there. So it worked for 2 points, but it is a bit congested. It could have a little pullback in there, but I think it went for 2. I just don't like it because it's into the highs. What did it make? It might not have ticked through 2 points, but for a quick scalp, maybe. Yeah, Chad, but I think it's pretty adaptable. I was quite surprised it had so many features, but I think it's $350, so it's not cheap. But I suppose if it saves your blowing an account, it'll soon pay for itself. But I think if anything, it's useful just to get you out of a habit, because I had that habit coming back later on in the evening, and I would say 9 times out of 10 I'd end up blowing an accounts. So I clearly needed some intervention. Fortunately, I managed to get out the habit. But so okay, so leg up. Let's have that. Let's have a look what's going on. I think that theory of breaking out the bottom is null and void now. Yeah, I keep forgetting that was just because of the news, really, wasn't it? But I'm much better now in recognizing areas where I've got to stay out of. So I'm pleased about that. And that just comes in time. I've been trading this style now for 2.5 years religiously. But I do feel like I'm getting the benefits now. I'm staying out of lots of trades that would have gone against me. You just get that picture that something doesn't look right. You can see there is a little bit around there. There is a little bit of support and resistance. You can see it there. You can see it there, there, quite a few times there. So it's definitely creating a little bit of resistance there, but that seems to be pushing through now. Leg maybe. It is struggling to get above this area here, the midline. So Okay, as tempting as that is, it possibly will. It's just a bit risky because it's congested, clearly congested there. So I'm staying out of that. May work, but it's not for me. It's definitely working on that line, and it's, you know, it looks nice, but it's just congested, and I'd have preferred it to drop below there at least a tick. So it's just something I'm staying out of, but it looks like it's working. Yeah, you'd have got a point out of that so far. It's got to push through. If you went one tick above there, does look like it's working. So we've had a breakout from here, so it may get up here. It might get up to the top actually. So, market is shut next Thursday, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, being it Thanksgiving, we may get an Apex discount, or a decent size one. I'm guessing, as you guys know, it's Thanksgiving, so the market is shut next Thursday, and it's half day Friday, so I'm guessing volume will be probably low on Friday, so whether it's worth trade or not, I don't know. So I may open the stream. I'm guessing, with it being Thursday, I'm guessing most traders will be taking the Friday and then into a long weekend. Obviously, you guys know how your Thanksgiving sort of holidays go. Much better than me, but the market is closed Thursday, so there are no trading Thursday, week tomorrow. Okay, so I think it would go above there because of this lower shoot. I don't think it's what no. So taking Friday, yeah, I'll take both days off actually. My wife doesn't work Fridays anyway, so I might take her out for lunch somewhere. McDonald's maybe. Somewhere posh with a seat. I would think Apex would do Black Friday. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, I'll be surprised if they do something maybe a day or two before. I wouldn't be shocked if you get something from maybe Monday saying, I don't know, but there's bound to be something. Pre-news, we are at 45.32. Oh yeah, so so we're back to where we were. So I keep looking at the daily, thinking what's going to happen, and it goes up a bit, comes back a bit, goes up a bit. Trouble is, if you I mean, these follow the trend lines exactly the same, so it could push up a little higher, and a little higher on here is quite a lot. So if we go from here to here, the top of the channel is 35 points, so we have got scope, but we could easily pull back a bit. But the fact that we've gone across, we've gone up, we've gone back, and we're moving up again, perhaps it's holding. And if you look at this, it moved up from there, a little bit of a pullback. So, and this second push, usually maybe the first bars are a bit there, but we may get a strong move up again. It's hard to say. It's hard to. I mean, this is just a rough guesstimate, really. But I mean, that was the news, but that shouldn't make a difference. So there is a possibility, you know, of getting something like that, getting right up here. So that would take us up around the 45, 44 area, which is only about 15 points higher than where we are now on that daily. So that could easily do that, that's for sure. And after this little drop out the bottom, I'd certainly expect it to get to the tops here. But if we can get to the tops and above there, then I think we've got a chance of getting higher. So I would you consider that an overshoot? If you take that out there, I'd say no. Touches. In fact, that looks okay. I'm not going to consider that as an overshoot. If we can get a couple of legs back, just got to be careful because it's broken above this, like it's broken there, so it could come down from there. That's my concern. So if we do get a second entry long, I'll be waiting for a higher low, just in case. I thought you thought them amazing. Yeah, dream on, mate. I couldn't even afford to buy a bag. I went to Harrods once, actually. Came out with a bag. An empty one, of course. But, yeah, we'll probably go for a pub lunch or something. Sit in the garden, it's cheaper. Fortnum and Masons. In fact, I was watching a guy on YouTube last night who went to one of... we got, obviously, sort of... celebrity chefs over here. What was his name? I forget his name. Some celebrity chef. And he went for fish and chips, and he paid £37 for it, which is what, I don't know, about $45, something like that. And he had 9 chips and a small piece of fish. He wasn't impressed. So like, okay, so that now is pushing up. Oh, that's fine. I'm happy that that's okay there. So we're a couple of ticks off this high. So after this, I expected to push above here, which it's where it's holding most prices. And we've come to where I thought we'd come to. So interested to see now what happens. Very nice Earl Grey tea today. I've tried Earl Grey. It's a bit weak for me. When I make a cup of tea, I leave the tea bag in. I do, because I like mine strong. But I've never had anywhere expensive, really. I went to one of Jamie Oliver's restaurants once down in Winchester. I can't remember who it was. It was about 10 years ago. Excuse me a sec while I kick my dog. Yeah, I went to Jamie Oliver's. I forget what I had now. It was a pasta dish or something. It was about £25 for a small pasta dish or something. It was quite a few years ago. Drinks are expensive, though. I had a double Lafroig, 10-year-old Lafroig. It was about £17. So yeah, drinks are just as expensive. It's not where they make money on the drinks, not the food. Oh, this was 10 years ago, this was, mate. I don't know what he's doing now. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, 10 years ago this was. I don't know, to be honest with you, mate. I don't know. I know there's a Lucia, what's his name? You know, the Italian chef, the one with a sort of blonde curly hair. He's quite old now. Luciano, something like that. There's one of his near us. wasn't it? No, I think they're overrated. I do a lot of the time. The trouble is, at the end of the day, it's okay going to pay. You know, I think Gordon Ramsay over here, we went to one of his restaurants. You can order the burger and chips, and I think it's about £160. But at the end of the day, how good can you make a burger and chips taste? Chips are chips, they're potatoes. You fry them. How good can you make them taste? They're not going to taste anything better than a chip. And same with a burger. It's a piece of meat. It might be nicely seasoned and cooked nicely, but is it going to be worth £160? You know, if I was earning £250,000 a year, I'd probably buy one and not think about it. But ultimately, if I went to a place like that, I'd be thinking I need £160 worth of food here, and you're just not going to get it from burger and chips. Medium low impact news. Yeah, it doesn't usually create anything really. No, £160 for a burger and chips. No, it's a lot of money. I suppose you may do it once just to tell yourself, you know, just to see if it really does taste that good. But yeah, isn't it? Yeah, it is, isn't it, really? I just don't see the point in food's food, isn't it? It's just overpriced just because of the guy, and half the time he won't be cooking it anyway. You'll have some other chef in there. Okay, so we've got to break out the top here, the bottom here, and the same out the top, which I thought was likely. Now there is an overshoot there, so whether you, in fact, you may even adjust that. That could even go from there, to be honest. What does that look like? That doesn't look too bad like that. So if we can come and retest this somewhere, then I think we've got a good chance of getting up there. We'll see. But it could snap back. Most of the time I think they will do generally, don't they? A little bit sideways, and that looks like a leg and a leg to me. So it could snap back. If it does hold here, then we may go up. The daily certainly says we can. But that looks like a leg, a little bit of sideways, and possibly on the leg. But until it comes back and starts to hold, there's not a lot we can do, really. Sorry about the little bit of barking in the background. Kids are coming home from school, so my dog Wilson is got his nose out the window. Shh. Baby squid fell break out of support. Should have taken it. Yeah. Yeah. The trouble is, you never know it's going to go like this, do you? So that was congested. See, I looked at that one and I just didn't like the fact that, you know, my thoughts were that we could come back after this. So I didn't take it. At the end of the day, you're going into the longs there. It's clearly congested, but now I can see what's going on there. The trouble is, at the time, when you're trading it real time, it's a lot harder. When you see it after, you know, it's a lot easier to see it, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, you can clearly see that now, can't you, that it worked? But at the time, you know, when you can't see anything that's above it, you just don't know. Could have had a leg, and then, yeah. Okay, so we've broken out the top and we've come back. Let's see what happens now. See if we start bouncing and working up again. Same again. I wouldn't take the second entry just in case it is coming back in. I'd wait for the higher low. You wait for the higher low, you just rule out the chance of getting trapped. See, stuff in the US, I believe, food's a lot cheaper than it is over here. Even, you know, things I've bought in the past, like I bought a Canon digital SLR a bunch of years ago. It's just so much cheaper in the US. You guys are lucky in a way. Houses are cheaper in here. Houses are absolutely horrendous over here. I went down to Winchester to visit my sister a few months ago, and a standard 3-bedroom semi-detached house with a single garage was £900,000. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You're in Switzerland, yeah. So I guess stuff's expensive there, is it? But in the US, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable house prices over here at the moment. I think the average small house over here, and when I say small compared to you guys in the US, we're talking small. I'd say 230, 250,000 minimum pounds, that is. You get small 3-bedroom with a garage for that. Yeah. Obviously, cities make a difference. 2-bedroom apartment over 1 million. Woof. Yeah. Oh, in London, absolutely. In fact, I was looking at a house in London, really nice family home, but it was just a terrace, so it had houses connected both sides. It was 13 million. It's horrendous in London, gotta say. I was looking at houses and just having a bit of a dream. I like the ones where they, you get a couple of people and they walk around them. But I did see one. Where was it? It was a footballer's house. This was massive and it had loads of ground. 3 million. It had its own football pitch as well. Where was that? I forget what. Hertfordshire, was it? Lancashire, I think. Lancashire. So obviously, yeah, from one place to the next. I mean, you go to certain places, Liverpool, and they're giving them away. Some places. Right, what's going on here? Are we coming back in, or are we going to push up and out? Possible second entry long. Although this is, as I say, I never take this second entry long when we pull back in, just in case it triggers you and comes down. This is starting to look a bit bearish for me. Yeah, it does. See, if it does go bullish, I always wait for the higher low, because if it triggers you and comes down, you're knackered, aren't you? Whereas if it triggers it and doesn't come down, you get a higher low. That's usually a good indicator. Going higher, I just want to get out of this little range here. I mean, there is a lower high there, but I don't like going into, there's clear support and resistance along there. I don't like getting into that just in case we get a bounce. So that's risky for me. Leg. There are 2 legs down. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so possible failure. I much prefer a failure when we get a bullish bar there that triggers. It's trying to push up. Yeah. Okay, so that bar's triggered. I can't see why you'd take that at the moment anyway. Let's see. So that might not be a terrible failure if it comes down below this support here. Trouble is, it could go either way, and when we're in that situation, I just tend to just leave them. It's not a full measured leg. EMA is going flat. You could do a bunch of stuff here. Okay. Okay, so just excuse me for 1 minute. Okay, sorry about that. Daughter's just come home from school. Okay, it's trying to go higher, but you just can't go now. You just got to wait a bit. Because it might just pull back. It may just retest this level here or under here. Leg and a leg. I suppose there's a possibility we're touching there, touch there, touch. It's a bit early though, I think. How much am I up? Are you on about today or in general? At the moment, my 1p account is just over $1,700. There's another one just started this morning. That's in general over the last month and a couple of days, I think. Today, nothing as yet. No trades yet. Yeah, all good. All good. I've just reduced my risk down to 1 contract instead of 2. Just added a second PA this morning. In general, been following your journey. Brilliant. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. I hope I'm a good example of what not to do at times. But it is good to share it with something else, isn't it? It's good to see what someone else is doing. It does help you compare to yourself and, your thought process similar to mine. So it just, they say 2 heads are better than 1, don't they? So yeah, happy to help if I can. Help you guys, help me, absolutely. This is definitely beneficial to me. I wouldn't do it otherwise. So we got this channel up here. We got a break, 2 legs down, and 1 push up so far. So I think it's a good chance we could push up, but it's hard to trade this really, because if we got a leg, we could have another leg just coming up to here. So it's hard to trade this. So I think what we need to do is break above there and retest that to go longer if there is something, because it could still just drop. But there is, I'll show you my NEMAS, isn't it? I'll show you my equity kit. Ultimately, this is what it's about. I'll show you this now. This is my, let's have a look. This is my trade for the last 20, this is day 21 today. There's my trades there. So 26 trades there. Currently, I've lost 4, so I'm trading just under 85%. But that's, more importantly, that's my equity. In fact, is it there or is it further across? Let's have a look. Yeah, it is. That's my equity curve there. And that's all that matters. Doesn't matter what happens today or what happens tomorrow. That's what you want. Consistently going up. That tells you whether you're a profitable trader. Doesn't matter whether you have a bad day today. And sometimes before I had this, I'd have a bad day and that would dictate what I was as a trader, or that's what it felt like. So you get yourself one of those and it just, you can see where you are. That's the true story about what you are as a trader, that equity curve is slowly rising. Okay, so as I mentioned here, we've got a leg and a leg, we've got a leg up and we've got another leg up, that's more or less played out. So you just got to be careful around here. It does, yeah. And what's helped me is reducing my contracting. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer to build your accounts, but you got a lot more chance of keeping them. It's common sense when you think about it. If you lower the risk, the stress levels get lowered. It's common sense. So it's the one thing I've always avoided, and it's the one thing that's worked. And we hear stories, don't we? We've all heard, the story that all inexperienced traders and newbies always risk too much, trying to run before they can walk, and I've been no different. That's been me, trying to grow too quick, but the trouble is it comes with a price, a hell of a lot of stress, and as someone who's only been trading for 3 years, I'm still sort of scratching the surface. I would class myself as just moving into the intermediate level where I can sort of hold an account and make a bit of money. But every day's a school day. How many accounts do you trade simultaneously? At the moment, just the 2. And I have had up to 5, but the trouble is, with 2 contracts, I was, if I had a bad day, it just would affect me too much. So the plan is just a couple, get up to a payment and then add 3 to it, and then get up to another payment and add a few more. Just add a few at a time. I see so many people getting 10 and 20 accounts. The trouble is, if you make a bad trade, technically you've made 20 bad trades or 10 bad trades. And I think really you need to get an account to start paying to prove to yourself you can do it. Just because you passed a PA account doesn't mean you're going to be a profitable trader. You're going to blow a bunch of those first. So, a lot of people do that. And I've seen, they manage to pass an evaluation and they think, oh, yeah, I've got a PA account. Oh, let's get a bunch more. And it just gets too much. So I think get yourself 1 or 2 PAs and then build them till you can get a payment. And then when you get a payment, invest a bit more in a few more. But, I'm no different from anybody else. I've tried to run before I can walk. We've all heard the saying, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And I've been getting up every day for the last 2 years and trying to sprint, and it's not working. So I had to change something. Amazing how you keep yourself from trading semi-okay sets. I still do sometimes. I still take them. But another thing I've had to learn to do is forgive myself, because I'm a bit of an all or nothing person. If it doesn't go at 100%, I sometimes go off the rails. So I've had to learn to accept the fact that this is a fast-moving market, and sometimes you don't have a lot of time to make decisions. And after only trading this style of trading for 2.5 years, you're still going to make rash decisions that aren't always the best. But, that's part of learning, and they'll get less and less. Sooner or later, you'll filter all the shit out. But I'm getting much better now at not getting into bad setups. Sometimes I'll still lose like yesterday, I lost my confidence in 2 trades, but both trades went on to make 5 points plus. But you will get better at filtering them out, but it comes in time. But patience is, it's definitely the key. See, I'm not sure about that. It might be okay, but you just don't know whether it's going to tick you and come down. I'd say trouble is we've had a leg and a leg, a leg and a leg. 2 legs down, 2 legs up, and a little bit of congestion. So that may trigger and come back down. At the moment, I'm 50-50. I'd say it's slightly more likely to push up, but it could be a trap. But it's just a bit too risky for my blood. We've just broken out of here and come back, so it may be sort of retesting this area, which is why I've stayed out of it. But I am getting better at recognising trades that are a bit risky. Hey, Sam, how you doing, bud? I've heard from you for a bit, mate. How you getting on? Enjoyed your break? Activation, lifetime or regular one? I would say if you think you can keep... Brilliant, mate. Everything go okay with the family thing you had? Everything settled and, you know, all done and dusted? I just got to sort of, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Good on you, mate. Good on you. It just takes a bit of time now, doesn't it? Let things start to settle. Good on you, mate. Good on you. ERP. I would say if you think you're going to hold it more than 30 days, go for the one-off payment. The thing about the one-off payment is you haven't got that pressure that you have to trade, because if something goes wrong and you want a bit of time off because something isn't working, you've still got to keep paying that $85 every month. So if you keep that account for 30 days, you've saved money by paying the one-off fee. So that's down to you, really, whether you think you can hold the account. If you're still in that phase of blowing them a lot, then maybe better off to go for the monthly. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a huge amount of difference, is it? What is it? It's about $55 more. But yeah, if you've got to pay that for a second, another $85, you've saved money already. So this looks to me like now it may be starting to push up. See, there's a leg up. 2 legs of correction. I'd still like to see it maybe come back and retest something here again. I think after the breakout, once it gets above here, I think then we're okay. Then I can see another leg, but at the moment it could just trap some longs there and just drop. So I'm just watching and staying out at the moment. It does seem to be the start of sort of like another leg. Just going to kill that colour a minute. It's good to have a break, Sam, for sure, mate. Yeah. Does clear your head a bit, helps you think a bit clearer. I don't take enough time off, really. I think I've had the equivalent of about maybe 7 or 8 days off in the last 3 years, I think, trading. I do get a bit obsessed about it. Okay, that looks like it's working, so ideally, really, need a bit of a pullback now. Yeah, absolutely it does, mate. It puts you... See, things are going okay for me, nice and slow and steady. So my mindset is calmed down now, but sometimes when you know what it's like when you've had a couple of bad days or something's right, you seem to be in this little bit of a turmoil going on inside your head. And sometimes you sit in front of the screen for a day and you think, I probably really shouldn't be trading if I'm honest. But you know what it's like, don't you? But now I've been trading for a little over a month now. The account's building slowly. My stress levels have dropped. So I feel like I'm in a good place. But the only other way to get that clarity is to take a break. So you made a good decision, mate, for sure, yeah. Let's have a look. UKFT Black does not exist. No, it doesn't. If you read it up here, mate, it says 40% off on my thing down here. 40% off Replicanter between the 20th and the 24th of November. So yeah, the 20th. So you got another 5 days. 5 days. I just put it up there just to let people know that if you're thinking about buying it now, at 20% off, hold fire and wait. So yeah, it's okay, mate. Don't worry. Don't worry. Yeah, you got 5 more days. Yeah, I just put it up there, so just to give people a bit of a heads up, because you don't want to buy it now, do you? If you, but yeah, I think it brings it down to about $120, I think, which for the product, I think it's absolute value. It's $30 cheaper than the Apex one, and in my opinion, it's far superior. What was the price normally? Yeah, it used to be $150. It went up in, I think it was the beginning of September. It went up to 200. So it went up quite a chunk. But yeah, so it takes it down to $120. That's good value. So if you are going to trade more than one account at some point, it's certainly an option to get it early. Yeah, I mean, some people still use Apex and say they haven't had a problem with it. I had a nightmare with it a bunch of times. I don't know why. Some people it seems to work, some people it doesn't. But when I moved over to Replicanto, it was night and day. And there's nothing worse than, you know, when you invest in your money and you've got 5 accounts on the go. The last thing you want to do is have. But what I will say is, if you look now, I'm going to bring in quickly. I have these 2 boxes on my right. So if I take a trade, let's say if I open up a trade now,
order submitted.
That trade will be in there. So I'll know if anything doesn't trigger if I'm trading multiple accounts, after I cancel, after the trade triggers, whatever, I just make sure both those boxes are empty. This one, I'll click cancel all orders. This one, I'm looking for flatten everything. But as long as those 2 boxes are both empty, there's a positions tab and an orders tab. I have them separately so that it's clearer to see them both. So if you're trading multiple accounts, and even if I'm trading just a one account, I always make sure after the trade I have a quick glance and make sure those 2 boxes are empty. It's a good habit to get yourself into now, even if you're not trading multiple accounts. Just open an orders tab and a positions tab, and just keep, every time a trade stops or triggers, whether you get stopped out or profited, if that's a word, then just make sure both of those are empty. And that way you'll get yourself into a good habit. So when you start trading multiple accounts, you'll already be in that habit. So I'd get into that early, I would. So we're working up in a nice channel here. We've broken above here now. So leg. There's either a leg or a leg, in which case we're going to get up a bit higher, or a leg and a leg. I'm going to go for the smaller one. Or I've got that in mind, so I think that's more chance. So we've already had a break out of this area and we've come back in, but obviously the market's looking a bit bullish, so hopefully I'd like to see a retest of this and then to push higher. So we may get an option, or it may just come down and off it goes. How do you open that box? These 2 boxes here, if you let me have a look. Here we go. I'll show you how to get them. What you want to do, this thing that you've all got there showing your accounts and stuff, if you right click and click duplicate in new window, yeah, there's your accounts box. Okay, so if you click plus, let's say for instance orders, one of mine is orders, click on orders and then shut that one down. So there's your orders. Okay, so why is that showing like that? Orders, cancel all orders. Why is that? Oh right, okay, because I duplicated the thing. Yeah, so yeah, just duplicate the window and just mess around. See, I like that, but it's only one entry, unfortunately. So yeah, just duplicate this and then just delete which ones you don't want and make it a bit smaller and maneuver it around. You'll figure out. And then I just drag mine on the side. As you can see, they're here like that. I just tuck them in there. And at the end of every trade, even if I'm only trading one account, I just check they're both empty. That way you never accidentally have something that's sat there either triggered or worse, waiting to be triggered. Okay, there is a bullish bar there, but it's only a first entry, so I can't take that personally. I was hoping we'd get maybe another leg down. the fact that we've broken this high might mean traders may be a little bit less inclined to go long just yet, so I'm hoping we can go another leg back. Because we've broken that high, I think there's more chance of getting another leg back. We'll see. Let's have a look at this. Okay, leg up, 2 legs. Nice sort of correction there. Hey, Sam, how you doing, bud? How are you getting on? Okay, so hopefully leg, that would be nice. So close here, 1 more bar come down, touch the top of that reverse bullish. That needs to stay down really.
Order submitted.
That's looking good. Leg up, 1, 2. Okay. That's worked lovely there. Just do that again. Yeah, perfectly sat on there, so that's a good sign, that is. So I really want to break below there. I don't want to just take that, see. Oh, you got it, have you? Oh, good on you, mate. Yeah, it's not difficult. You can figure it out. But, you know, even if you're trading 1 contract, get into the habit of having a glance and making sure it's empty. That way, when you go onto multiple accounts, you'll already be in that habit then, and it'll, you know, because I had to. I think I was here one day and one was still open and I didn't know, and luckily a guy I chat to online, Nick, phoned me up. I had the phone going and he went, "You've got 1 contract open." I had noticed, so yeah, get into that habit and it'll stand you in good stead that way. Okay, so if we can get a higher low, that might interest me. Unfortunately, I couldn't go for that because it was a tick or 2 off there. It's an inside bar, so that just makes it a bit more risky. So, try go 1 strike, possible failure. Let's see. But I like the fact that we've come down and retested this line. That's a good sign, that is. I'm just going to pull that out of the way a minute. It's confusing me a bit. So leg up. 2 legs of correction, leg up. This is looking good, but we've got to get a higher low, really. I can't just jump in there willy-nilly. Too risky. But have 1 orders and have 1 positions as well. Because what happens when it triggers, when this triggers, it then goes from the orders box into the positions. So you want 1 of each, really. So just make sure, because sometimes if you've got multiple accounts, 1 will trigger and 1 won't. So I just make sure both boxes are empty. Just have a glance and you can see in a second. At least that way, if there's anything either one of them, just right-click them and cancel them, and you're good to go. I got a better entry on the unchecked EOD chart. Oh, right, I got you. Okay. So you have 2 charts up like this, do you? So where's your entry there, yeah? Yeah, I should probably do that, really, shouldn't I? If that had ticked a bit lower, see, it may have interested me, but my slight concern was it's an inside bar, and I don't like the way... Yeah, I can live with that little bit of wick if we hit the same level or broke below a bit. Yeah, there was a good on the other chart. You'll have to remind me how you did it again. So I'll tell you what. Let's duplicate the window. How do you do it again, mate? Remind me. Let me just get rid of this.
Order cancelled.
Let's just get rid of that. How do you do it again? How do you do it on the next chart? So make a new chart. Yeah, I got a new one here. So make a new chart, new ES chart, and click data. So that's it, right? Yeah, okay. Which is looks like a fist in a box, doesn't it? Data series. Right click, hit data series. Yeah. So here we go. What do I do now, bud? Right click data series, you say? End of day, is that it? Do I deselect that? Uncheck that and then click apply, yeah? Do I need to reload historic or not? Because at the moment... okay, yeah. Right, okay. It is a bit different. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's a bit different. That's got a tiny stem, and on this one there isn't. Yeah, it is a bit different, isn't it? That's okay, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so that looks like a leg and a leg. So let's see if we get a higher low from that. I got a trigger below on. Did you really? So let's reload historic on this, see if that makes a difference. Yeah, it's worth doing, isn't it? I think. I did it a while ago, but then I changed it over to the 10,000 tick chart. Yeah, it's no different at the moment. It's still different than that. Okay. I'll keep that anyway. Cheers for that, bud. I appreciate that. Okay. Now, that's the problem, really. You'd have got 2 points there, but you don't know. Is it a leg and a leg? Let me just see if this... Leg and a leg. I kind of like that. See if we can get a higher low. We've had a break up. We've made 1 attempt to go lower, 2nd attempt to go lower. That might be a good option to go long in a minute. We'll see what happens. I did, mate, but I had a few messages from people. People were signing up with a fake name. and a couple of people getting messages, so I deleted it temporarily. And what I'm going to do over the weekend, I'm going to go back into it, open up it again, and just change some settings. So you've got to get an invite. So if someone says to me, "Can I join?" And I'll just send you an invite, then it'll just save some. I don't know why some people have got nothing better to do and they just want to jump in and make people's lives miserable. But yeah, I will sort one out this weekend. I'm going to have a chat with my buddy Sam up there, because I know he's got a Discord, and I just want to figure out how to just get the settings right so people aren't getting dodgy comments. Yeah, I got DM from somebody. Yeah, there was a couple of people signing up as me, so there was such a lot of boxes to tick, and that I didn't really look into it properly. I've always found Discord a bit complicated, actually, but I'll have a word with Sam. He's got a Discord over the weekend, and see if I can't check I have set up a new one with Black Blade. Oh, good. Oh, Tyler from what's it? I think if we have more people running, first the less scammers. Yeah, I agree with that, mate. Oh, Tyler from Top Pick. He's all right. He is, actually. That's a good idea, mate. That's a good idea. Oh, different Tyler. I got you. Yeah, I got you. A different one. Yeah, it's the only other Tyler I know, to be fair. But yeah, I'll have a chat with you sometime over the weekend, and just because there's loads of complicated settings, isn't there? And it's a bit. I'd like to have it where you have an invite, so at least if someone says, "Be careful because it takes a lot of time and effort to run a Discord." Hence, does it really? 2 minutes? Yeah, it's a ball ache in it. I don't know why. Do you know what I'm getting, mate? Now, lots of emails constantly. There's a parcel waiting for you. I'm getting loads of them. Sign into here, put your details in. I'm getting loads of them. In fact, one of my email addresses I'm tempted to bin and just start something new, because I'm getting them daily. Obviously, now we're leading up to Christmas. People are trying to catch people out, but it's a pain in the arse, isn't it? I know a couple of people in the stream, want to share trying to explain to me a chart, and it's quite hard to explain it. So I'll have to look into it and see if there's a way of doing it. But the thing is, even if someone says, "Can I have an invite?" you don't know who they are, really, do you? And let's face it, I've got some real dodgy characters on my stream. I'm only kidding. It is, yeah. See, people can see my chart, but I can't see anybody else's. So it is handy, isn't it? Just for someone to post a chart and go, "This is what I'm looking at." So I'll have a play around over the weekend, see if I can't make something work. Yeah, you might be right, bud. You might be right. I mean, is it something we really need? I suppose it's more helpful to me than anybody, isn't it? But I'll tell you what, there's a lot more volume today. We had quite a bit yesterday, but a couple of days before. Yeah, it is, isn't it? I may not bother, actually. It might just be a bit of a ball ache. I might just let Sam have the hassle. Let's have a look. Okay, leg up. Catch 22. Yeah, I think it is. I don't think. Yeah, I think the sort of the pain in the arse outweighs the benefits. I think, doesn't it? He was going to. Yeah, I didn't have a clue what pain in the ass it was. I had someone message me saying, "Have you messaged me?" Someone's, but I don't know how people do it. People think we must be born yesterday. But I suppose if you spam enough people, someone will fall for it, won't it? I've been getting messages saying, from someone saying, "I've installed a Trojan on your computer and it's linked into your webcam, and I've recorded you looking at porn or something like that or whatever." Well, I haven't got a webcam, so I know it's a load of crap. But they're asking for $750 in Bitcoin. Otherwise, they're going to send it to all my friends on Facebook. But you can imagine people are doing, have been recorded doing something. I think it's a load of crap anyway. But there are going to be some people panicking out there, that's for sure. But it is a pain in the arse. I mean, the internet's great, isn't it? And computers are great, but there is a lot of, it's such a lot of ball ache sometimes. It really is. It does make you wonder whether it's worth it sometimes. I'm watching you right now. I have to keep my hands where you can see. Yes, I haven't got a webcam on mine. We've got a laptop, but I tend to not use it. But yeah, you just don't know what people can and can't do nowadays. I suppose theoretically, it's not hard to tap into someone's camera, is it? But I suppose most of the guys are just sending massive amounts of emails, and you send enough emails, sooner or later someone's going to panic. But they're asking for $750 worth of Bitcoin. It's a great time to do it, I must say, because we're heading into a bull run. So if you're going to rip people off for Bitcoin, now's a good time, in all fairness. Mike has posted 2 daily charts again. Oh, was he really? Well, he did say he was going to retire soon. Bless him, didn't he? He did that last week, didn't he? But posted a daily chart. Not that it doesn't do anyone any good. Yeah, let me have a look. I wonder if somebody told him last week. Oh, here we go again. Claim your price. Temu, there's a pallet waiting for you. He must be getting old, bless him. Okay, so yeah, you had to be a bit careful there. I mean, that worked for a bit, but I just wasn't a massive fan of it, and rightly so. It did make something. Let's have a look. It probably made a couple of points, I'd say. Yeah, you'd have got 1.75 there, depending on where you got in. But I kind of like that, but that bar there, I wanted it to break below and then reject for me to go a bit long. I mean, it may still go up. Could be just a leg and a leg. If we can get up and get a high low, that might not be bad. Option. Let's have a look. Yeah, yes. Oh, Mac, isn't he? Is that any good to anyone? He's posted a daily again. Oh, bless him. He's getting old. I wonder if anybody told him last time. Oh dear. What are we doing here? Can that go up any higher? It probably can, can't it? You got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches there. Yeah, I kind of like that. We have got that bit of support and resistance there. And we've probably got a bit more. There's a bit more there. You can see it there, along there. I kind of like putting these in now and again because it just, if you are going long into one, it just helps you to think twice. So, I'm going to get rid of that. Like a push up. We've hit this a couple of times, so. Just seems like more ranging, I think, by the looks of things. It may be one of those days today. So actually, that one there, I don't think was a bad trade, was it? In fact, on this other chart, on the other chart, it was a better option there. That had a bit of a tail to it there. Something like the current channel up. I've played out, so for a breakout, pushing back into the range. Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? I mean, that's the channel there, a couple of legs, and we're back up anyway, so whether that's irrelevant. Having said that, in these range days, half the time it's irrelevant. If it gets close enough to the top, it won't necessarily push up and make a new high. Sometimes it'll just go in a trend and it'll just drop. See, after this push up here, this sort of channel down, we had a channel down, didn't we? You could call that a break, but sometimes in these range days they'll just come down and just push up and just return. But yeah, we've got that channel there. There's a break there. That's made a new high, so that's played out. Regardless of whether this is, I mean, you could almost adjust that a bit, couldn't you? And if I keep that tight to there, touch. We've had a small break there anyway, so. But we got a leg down and a leg down. Price is holding at this support line here, so I'm not surprised it's doing that. Leg and leg. I think it's probably going to come lower. Maybe trap some longs there. Second entry long. One of these days it is a bit choppy, isn't it? It's hard to trade, really. See, there was that one I looked at. The trouble is, you're going along into there, so you just don't know at the moment. It's holding down here, so it could go lower. That one there, on another chart I got, did make a little wick a bit lower than that, so that could be a failure. And you're trapping that, I think, that bar there. So that worked out okay. The slight issue I have with that is there's a lot of resistance along there, so but obviously it worked. Okay, excuse me just for 1 minute. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. 1 minute. Okay, what did I miss? Big stem, but same again up to that support, so I'm not doing nothing at the moment. What do we do? Could go either or here, up or down. Could trap that. That's quite a strong push, that is. I'm certainly not taking it anyway. It's just quite choppy here. See, it may work, but it's a fair old size bar. So a tick above, tick below. It's not that big, actually. It's 3 points. 3¼ points tick below. It's not as big as I thought, actually. But even so, I can see along there, there's definitely a little bit of resistance there, and we've pushed right up to it. So, and that one's closed below it, and that one's holding. So I just think it probably work. It may work, but coming down. It's a bit congested, and I'm just not a fan at the moment, really. Could make a leg and a leg, but it could trap you and come back down. So it's not for me, this one. There is a possible second entry short there, which is just triggered. But there just could be a few traps here. Yes, if I was in that trade now, I think I'd need new underwear. Yeah. I mean, I can see why people have taken that one, but it triggered them and stopped them out. It's just got danger written all over there. Simply being because it's just choppy and sideways, and it's just a little bit unpredictable. What are we doing? Up, down? What? I got no idea. It's just like a bit of a roller coaster at the moment, isn't it? Up, down, up, down, up, down. You just can't trade this safely, really. And it is useful to have these support and resistance. I mean, really, that can come down a fraction more, really, to sit on top of there. Why will it come down? Okay. So it's touched once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times, and look how it's holding under there. So it's useful to have those, I think, if you've got an area where it's hitting a lot of times. I mean, if you were trading any other types of markets, you'd be putting those on, and you can see it's gone up once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and hasn't broken. It's bounced off that line. So going for a trade like that into this, it's useful to have these, just, not all over the place, but just in a few places. See, that may be a penguin trade. Channel up there, we've had a break, made one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. And that might be a penguin. Is Clay around, is he? That might be a penguin trade break. One attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, come down. So they may have taken that, say there, possibly. And they'd be out for the lows. See, same again, another resistance line here, which is holding. See it along here, here, there, along there. So they do make a difference, these. See, we are making lower highs here, but we're struggling to get through this area. So this, I would think this would probably push down. It's tried a bunch of times. I would say that is more likely to go down and break this area. If we can get below there, I'd see that coming down. But you just don't know. It is quite choppy and a bit hard to read at the moment, but that's, you know, I've given up even trying to read this sometimes. Sometimes it's just unreadable. You can have a bit of a guess, but that's about what it is. So I think it's likely. I did look at taking that, but then you got all this to go into there. But okay, see what happens here. See if that triggers. If that triggers, so on one side, it's a failure. If it does push below there, then I could see it getting close to that stop and coming down. There's probably going to be some stops there. After this, couple of attempts to go lower, there's probably going to be people holding here, maybe, off the back of this. Be nice to see that trigger. If that trigger and it comes down and stops below there, I can see it coming down. Okay, that's triggered. Let's see what happens. I wouldn't take that anyway. Might work, but it's not for me. So if you took that, I think you're likely to get stopped out there. We'll see. We'll see. It is certainly getting lower every time. But obviously we got this bit of support here, which is bouncing off. But once we stop that out, I think we got a good chance again. And there's the next target. Once we're below there, I can see that level getting hit, possibly even coming down a bit further. We'll see. One more tick and that stops out of the game. Okay, there's next. That'll break below. Yeah, okay, so I'd say here, I'd say next. So it's trying and trying and trying. It keeps coming into contact with this and bouncing, but we're through now, so that's my target for that measured leg. We have got the midline, so that might cause something, but okay, we're a tick off it anyway. In fact, no. That's lower, so I think we've hit that more or less. Let's have a look. Yeah, we're a tick off that and it's pushed up, so okay. So leg and leg. Yes, it's pretty hard to trade this at the moment. There's not really a lot you can do apart from sit and watch it go by. Okay, once that gets below there, I can see that coming down some more there. And that's pretty bearish, that is. See, second entry long, triggered, stopped out. Break out the bottom of this, pushed up strong, bullish, triggered, stopped out. For me, that's coming down. Once we're below there, there's nothing else really that's going to stop that. There is a bit of congestion down here, but I can see it's coming down here. Once you run out of areas that's holding, that's just not worth buying from, anything that's left is down. I hope we'll get something soon. Very choppy so far. You know, the thing I like about it when it does days like this is if you manage to sit through it and not take a trade, because obviously patience is such a big part of your trade, and it's another difficult thing to nail and to get right. But you know, things like that failure, I'd have 100% taken that, although it's congested, so I don't now. You know, second entry short, I'd have taken that. I may have even taken. So sometimes in the past, I've just looked for setups and I'll just take them. But the trouble is, when it's like this, sometimes you're best off just stay out. The trouble is, if you lose a trade, you've then got to win another one just to get back to break even. At least one. And I think you're much better to not take that loss and then just wait for something. But sometimes it'll do this and do this and do this, and all of a sudden it'll just give you a great entry. And all you really need is one decent trade. You get one decent trade for 2 or 3 points, you're sorted. Let's have a look. You can learn a lot. But absolutely, yeah, this is a big part of it, patience. And I don't have a problem with it at all now. It doesn't bother me in the slightest sitting for. Sometimes I get bored, but if I get bored, I'll just finish for the day. But you done Danish, are you? You take it easy, bud. Exponential, I took the lower high for 4 points. Yeah, I mean, when we had that one, and indeed that one, for me, were coming down. I mean, they're trying to hold it, I think, aren't they? But after that one, you know, even if you'd have put a stop below, an order below there, I wouldn't have take that and engulfing. That's not a bad trade. I think you certainly got your points there, but it's given us that impression it's coming down, isn't it? So yeah, I just get a bit extra cautious. If I was on an evaluation, then yeah, I'd have probably taken that or maybe that. But it doesn't matter whether you're taking that or that. They all worked. But yeah, there's nothing that stopped this now, really, once we're down so far. Been short on the Dow for so long today. Just got out on that drop. Good on you, mate. I'm guessing if you got out down here, you got your points. Good on you. But yeah, it's good practice sometimes. It's good practice on the discipline because, you know, it is a big part of it. You are going to get days that you're going to have to sit through. It's not a terrible day today. It is moving, but it is this has just gone a bit choppy, and you just, you don't know whether it's going to try and have another crack at going higher. Just the way it was holding along here. Is it going to have a bounce? You know what I mean? But I've seen it do this before. It's another thing as well. I get paranoid sometimes. Sucks in some shorts, sucks in some shorts, and then woof, up it goes. So when you've had that happen a couple of times, sometimes you get a bit paranoid when it seems to give you one offer after another, which is why I sort of held a bit. But I think once that bar came up there, I think if you took the engulf, and it's not a massive bar, that if you took the engulf in there, put your order, it's below everything else there. I don't think that was a bad way to go. I'd at least expect it to get to the bottom of this. So if you put your order one tick below there and came out of the bottom, you'd have got at least 2 points. But I just get a bit extra cautious. I got quite a good win rate at the moment, see, so I'm trying to keep it. But there is a lot of chop. It's literally up, down. It's like a bloody roller coaster, isn't it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. It's about a 17 and a half point top to bottom. So at the moment, it's still holding on that bottom. I don't think it'll be long though before it pushes through. Okay. I had my suspicions it was going to do that, so we're down here next. This will be interesting. It's very choppy, isn't it? Okay, it looks like a leg and a leg there, so that'd be interesting. So, depending on how you look at that, that's a bit of an overshoot. So, let's see if it stops that bullish bar out or it pushes up for a higher low. That may be triggered, see? That's triggered. I think I will return to the charts on Monday. Good on you, mate. Good on you. You're getting the bug again, aren't you? So I find it really hard to stay away. I do. I really, even when I've said I'm going to have a few days off, I find it hard to stay away. I do. Good on you, mate. Best of luck to you, mate. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. I've got faith in you. What's going on here now? Fact. Let's just kill that colour. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it's good a break. It's definitely good to have a break. It does clear your head. It really does. For sure. Hey, Lance, struggling these past 2 days. You are taking stupid trades. Yeah, we all do that, mate. We all do that. Sometimes trading just seems bloody impossible. We all go through that, mate. Eventually, you'll start to filter that out. I wouldn't beat yourself up about it, although I almost literally have. But it is frustrating. But it's all part of it. Your brain isn't designed to be a trader. We're not born that way. We're born, so to be very protective over what we got. We sort of grow up. We get our sort of things, don't we? We're sort of very sort of particular about this is mine. I'm not going to lose it. I'm not giving anything away. You take my money. I want it back. And that's how we tend to react to anything like that. Someone takes something from you, you want it back. Not only do you want it back, you want it back now. So when you lose a trade, I used to, I would say when I used to lose a trade, going back a while, the chance of me losing another one within the next 2 minutes are quite high because obviously you've got those emotions. I tend to think a bit now. Well, I don't try and get myself into those positions in the first place. I'm much better at seeing danger areas now and staying out. But it is just something that comes in time. There's no easy way around it, unfortunately. It's just trading is one of those things you can't really tell someone how to do it. You can give them guidance, but ultimately they have to experience it, and it's a matter of forging that brain to be able to work in a different way, which takes the time. But what I will say is if you just stick at it and continue, you can't help but get better. Your skill level, as you get used to those emotions again and again, just by putting yourself in this scenario, as your skill levels climb, you'll naturally get better. It's impossible not to. And, they say it's got a high failure rate. That's because people give up. Not everyone can take, coming and have these sort of frustrating battles day in and day out and lose money. Not everyone can do that. It takes stubborn people, I think, who can put up with the shit and put up with the, the frustration. But you've got to be stubborn, and you've got to be able to, just come back, and I'm not going to let it get to me. Fortunately, I'm a bit lucky like that. Even when I've had a really bad time and I've blown accounts, 2 to 3 days, and I seem to come back with a sense of enthusiasm. It's a bit of luck, I think. I am a bit stubborn, but. Yeah, I'm getting impatient trying to force trades. Everybody goes through that, mate. Everybody goes through. But what I will say is when you lose a trade, you get so much value from it you don't realise. You get into a certain situation, and if I'm looking for a trade here, I'm fixed on this area here. So if I take a trade and it's a bad trade, I get trapped. that picture is logged in my brain. And when you've been in that situation many times, sooner or later, you'll build up this picture in your head. And when you get into a situation like this again, something won't feel right. And that's the only way I can describe it. If I look at a trade now, I go, something doesn't feel right. And I would say 7 or 8 times out of 10, usually it goes against me. So I wouldn't fight it. Just keep coming in and keep trying, but keep it in your mind. If trading was easy, everyone would be doing it. But if you just stick at it and keep trying, it's impossible not to improve. I'll tell you that. Any job, if you do enough times, you'll get better at it. So, but don't beat yourself up. You might save yourself some headaches then, see. But, what you're doing, how you react to the markets doing this and taking your money is perfectly normal. So don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up. Just do what I do and start drinking whiskey. Makes the evening so much less relaxing. But, yeah, I was getting to the stage. I like a single malt, I do, and I was getting to the stage where I was having a bottle every couple of weeks. Just out of stress, but I don't know. I save it generally for Friday nights, and I have a couple of doubles. But yeah, okay. So we've had a break. Is this coming down? Possibly, but after the overshoot, I've got to be cautious about taking a short. I like to set whiskey, yeah, and there's no E in the end of it. There might be for Americans, but Scottish will give you grief for putting an E in after the K. But yeah, I got into it a few years ago. The trouble is when you have loads of beer, I used to just get bloated. And I started drinking. I had a friend I was working with at the time. He came over from the States actually and bought a bottle of bourbon over, the one with that melted red plastic over the top, Maker's Mark, is it? And we got a bit sort of, had a few of them and got a bit sort of, slightly drunk. But I didn't, when you're drinking beer all night and you're backwards and forwards to the toilet and you wake up in the morning dehydrated to hell. I never had that, so it's much easier on your system, I think. Playing around yesterday's highs, yeah. That's it, Sam, you tell him, mate. There's a Scotsman here, just be careful though, Sam. You don't want to offend a Scotsman. They'll hunt you down. Excuse me a sec. Okay, it is holding under there, so it could drop or it could trigger a few shorts here and rock it up. I just can't take a short after this, what looks like an overshoot. It may come down, but I just can't take anything. It's just a bit risky. I just don't like that. Sometimes it almost teases you and teases you and teases you. And then when you get in, up it goes. What kind of beer? Well, I've gone through phases of. I used to drink lager. Hey man, how you doing, bud? I used to drink lager. What I used to do is drink lager in the summer and bitter. I don't know if you US guys know bitter, do you? It's just like an ale. But I used to drink cider. I went through was the last sort of phase I had, drinking cider and Guinness as well. That's quite a nice drink. I don't mind a cider now. If I go out for a meal, I don't generally drink whiskey if I'm eating, because it affects your taste a bit. But I like cider if I go out. I do have the odd lager, but you go through phases. I've drunk all sorts, over the years, but I don't know if you US guys have ale over there, do you? I'm all right, mate. I'm all good. How are you doing? I'm all good. Setting a failure. Second leg up, down trend, which way? We have it all. Yeah, I suppose you do know, don't you? But we drink out of pint glasses over here. I don't think you guys, do you normally drink a smaller glass with a handle? We sort of drink out of pint glasses over here. But yeah, I mean, this is the 21st century, isn't it? It should be everywhere, but I'm not a massive fan of ale. I tend to, if I cook something with it, like I did a... Sorry about the noise in the background. It's my dog shaking a sock. I tend to cook with it. I did a steak and ale pie the other day, and I used a bottle of Guinness in that, which was nice. But I like a good Kolsch. That rings a bell. Kolsch. Not sure about that. Kolsch. Kolsch. Excuse me a sec. It does ring a bell. Yeah, it does ring a bell. We do a lot of Carling and Carlsberg over here in the UK. That tend to be the drink, I think, even though I haven't ever thought of having a website. Who, me? For what would you do with it, though? I suppose it's okay if you're selling something, isn't it? But I don't know what you do with it. What would you do with it? It's just more work to do. So, I don't know what you'd do with it, mate. What would you do with it? Have you ever seen that? Is it the Scruffy Trader? He sells cups, doesn't he? Cups and stuff like that. Scruffy Trader, I think he calls himself. Scruff. I think he's from the northeast, isn't it? More about your trading of your affiliate links. Oh, I don't know, mate. It's an headache, isn't it? I've not really thought about it, to be honest with you. I follow Scruff for a long time. He's all right, isn't he? He's all right. He's a currency trader. I think he does okay, doesn't he? But it just goes to show, the normal average day Joe can trade. I used to think, traders were guys that came fresh out of university with degrees coming out of their trousers, you know what I mean? But it just goes to show anybody can trade, absolutely anything. You got half a brain, you can trade. It's just a matter of, time, isn't it, really? It's just... but I used to think, it was just for these sort of, these financial wizards, but not at all. I don't like his style of trade. Yeah. I just now and again, when you're having browsed through YouTube, I've just watched a couple of his videos just when he's having a bit of a chat, but yeah, he's a funny old fella, isn't he? Sell proper UKFC whiskey glasses. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I could sell my own brand of whiskey, couldn't I? Mix Scottish and Irish together or something. I could mix Scottish, Irish, and bourbon together and have my own brand. I don't know, headaches. What was he talking about? A website. Oh, it just sounds like a lot of hard work to me. I thought I'm glad you put a smiley face. I thought you might have got highly insulted there when I mentioned mixing it with the Irish whiskey. What is going on here? It's a bit hard to trade this, isn't it? Up, down. I got a feeling it's going to be one of those days today. It's been a while since I haven't taken a trade. But I noticed lately that there hasn't been a lot of trades around. I know Mac, with the exception of yesterday, Mac's only, 4, 5, 6 trades maybe? Which is not a lot for Mac. Let's have a look what he sent me. Sam's in a trade now, aren't you? Alright, bloody hell, you must make some money. You must make some money. So every picture I get from Osam, he's up 400, 1,000. And he's in the middle of a trade. Fair dues, mate, to you. You've definitely got this nailed. And you can't lie about this. Every photo you send me, you're in the money. And you're only trading one contract. Fair dues, mate. You're doing really well. I think you're a bit of a natural. See, I wouldn't have thought to enter there, but you obviously know what you're doing, mate. No, you are, mate. I can tell. Every photo you sent me, you're actually in a trade, and I can see your profit where you currently are, and I get that every day. So you're making good points every day. Yeah, you definitely got a knack for it, mate. Second entry short here. Well, according to Osam, he's got his take profit right down here somewhere. See, we got this leg down, haven't we? The only trouble is we got this support here, so that's what makes it a little bit. Let's wait for confirmation. Yeah. And we've pushed down, haven't we? I don't know whether that even is a channel, to be honest with you. It's a bit of sideways and a leg down, one leg up, two. In fact, we've got a leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. So that's probably not a bad trade, actually. I don't know. It looks like a penguin, doesn't it? 1 up, 2 up. But it is a bit congested, so you just got to be a bit careful. A bit of a gap up there, look. You're getting stopped out here. Where's your stop up here? You might be right, mate. That's triggered there. If it comes below there, you may be right. I don't think it's time, so most people never get it. Yeah, appreciate your positivity and the way you always encourage other traders. Thanks for that, mate. Trouble is, have you noticed on some of the videos now, I don't have the comments because some people just make your life. They comment on you and they pick holes and they're just negative. There's enough negative people out there. I don't think giving people a slap on the wrist when you're struggling with trading is any help to anyone. You've got to be supportive because I know how hard it is. So, there's no competition here. There's no, if you do well in trading, it doesn't affect me. It's not like my business is encroaching on your profits. It doesn't affect me. So I've just been, had naff comments from some people. They just rip you to pieces and pick holes. It makes you feel like crap. So I wouldn't do it to anybody else. It's all ego. Yeah, I wonder why some people do it. But, then some people say, oh, they must be struggling themselves. But I had that Max guy, Money Max, they call him on the Facebook group, and I just got some bloody horrible stuff from him. So I ended up stopping the comments in the end. Every day I was getting stuff. I don't know why. But it's about helping each other, I think. You know what I mean? Never knock anyone on the way up. You might just meet them on your way down. But yeah, they were successful. They wouldn't be wasting the time. Yeah, they wouldn't waste the time watching me. If they were making money. I think when they start making good money, I think they disappear into the background, really. They don't hang around making other people's lives miserable. If they're making good money, they just fade out, don't they, and concentrate on the money, I think. If you look at Daniel, he used to spend a lot more time on the Facebook group, but I know he's making good money now. So he's working hard, enjoying his life. You start earning good money and you start being able to do a lot more, don't you? So I think it's natural when you start earning good money, you just fade out a little bit more. I think most of us are traders which are improving, getting better, working, getting a bit of help and a bit of advice and a little bit of support from each other. And eventually we'll sort of move on and there'll be a whole new generation of traders behind us. But yeah, you got to help each other. I always give someone, I get messages now and again saying they've blown accounts and stuff, and I just give them a little bit of a pep talk because it makes you feel better. You can't shout at someone and tell them they're this, that, and the other. That's not going to help them at all. It's just one of these unfortunate things that takes time. And if I thought giving someone a lecture might help them, I may do it, but I don't believe it does. This is just a time thing. So I think you're okay, Osam, aren't you? What's a good long? We're 4521 here. I think you're still in here, aren't you? Are you still? Is your stop still there, Osam? I don't think you got stopped out yet. Hey man, dude, I like your style, how you trade, even if it's not my strategy, but I feel open to hearing your analysis and very helpful to me. Brilliant, mate. Happy to help. Happy to help. I ask people every day. I still talk to people. I ask people in here, what do you think of this or what do you think of that? But yeah, I mean, there's loads of different ways. There's loads of different ways to skin a cat, as they say over here. But, you know, I like to learn bits of other things. Like I still watch for some penguin style trades as well. How does Daniel trade from Facebook group? From Facebook group. Does Daniel trade from Facebook? Oh, sorry, Pats. He trades Pats, same as us. But he does really well. He does really well. I think he's another bit of a natural thing. But mind you, you don't know how much work and effort people have put in, do you? But I think he's been trading, I think, 5 years, something like that, I think. But, you know, I believe you'd all get there if you just keep trying to improve and keep working. But you've got to be persistent and just keep trying. I think guys like Marco, Thomas Wade, Penguin, etc., just do education to keep themselves occupied. Yeah, you're probably right. You know, I've got no doubt those guys make money now. Trouble is, you don't have to earn a fortune to be a good, consistent, profitable trader. You know, what would I love to be earning? If I could earn, oh God, I mean, if I had 10 accounts and I could withdraw $1,500 from each account every month, I would be happy as Larry. $15,000 a month. How many people do you know earn $15,000 a month? And if you can do that and you're consistent, it's just a matter of scaling up. I think when you get good at this and you start to generally make money and you read the charts well, I think money will just follow you. When I first started learning to trade with a guy called Andrew Lockwood, he told me, I had a phone call with him. When I joined his group, you could have a phone call once a month with him. And he said to me, forget the money, concentrate on the trades. He said, when you get the trades right, I guarantee you the money will just follow you. And I haven't listened to it enough myself lately. I've just been thinking about money. I've been calculating money in my head, working out how much I can take here, how much I could take there. You know, I've even been spending it before I've even earned it. So I've had to sort of take a step back a bit and go, I need to slow down now. Now, yeah, it may take me a little bit longer, but it's not helpful to me if I spend the next 6 months blowing accounts trying to risk too much. And look, 22 days later, or 21 days later, and I'm up to $1,700. As I say, if you can earn, you can comfortably get to around about $1,500 or more per month trading one account. You have 10 accounts, that's $15,000 a month. Even if you have a poor month, that's $10,000. That's huge. It really is. And obviously, if you can get to that level of consistency, you know, the world's your oyster, really. Yeah, Marco and Daniel trade Apex. I know Marco does. I think Daniel said last time I had any sort of chat with him, I'm sure he said he got a few $300,000 account, because you can trade them together. So you might as well, really. Okay, so we've got a leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. So this could be a penguin style trade, I think, possibly. Leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. In my opinion, that was a great context trade, but not a great signal bar. Yeah, that's the trouble, really. See, context is everything, isn't it? Context is everything. I know when I first started, I was taking second entry longs in a downtrend because I thought, well, it's a second entry long, isn't it? And it was Daniel who actually helped me. He said something to me. He sent me a message saying, you're looking for patterns. you're not thinking about where the market's going. You've got to look for the patterns, but you've got to do it in line with the context of the market. And that triggered something. I started understanding a bit better there. But pattern chasing, yeah, we've all done that, haven't we? Yeah, I was taking a brilliant second entry long, lovely looking second entry long, but in a downtrend, unfortunately. That is very tempting. Now we got a leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, but I don't like the way it's come back. That is very tempting. Very tempting. What's the bar? It's 10 ticks, isn't it?
Order submitted.
I hate it when it kicks you out. Let's kick me out again.
Order cancelled.
Okay, let's.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Okay. I like that. We got a leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, failure, come down strongly. So I like that. So let's just go for maybe 6 ticks or so. 2 points. Let's have a look. 1975, 2075, 2175. I want to get out for the bottom, so we'll just leave it at that.
Order filled.
Yeah, okay. I like that. That's a penguin trade, that is. I think we got a leg down. One attempt to go higher. Second attempt to go higher. Failure. Big, strong drop. So I like that. What did I get out there for 1.5? Could have got lower, but I am aware that I think penguin always likes to get out before these lows, but yeah, I like that one. It's just another thing I tend to pick up from him. I'm not even sure if that is valid, but we got a leg down. We had a break. We had one attempt to go higher. A little bit of sideways. Another attempt to go higher, and that dropped quickly. So I'd expect that to do 1-to-1, depending on where you took it. There, and you're out for 11 ticks. So sometimes I don't like to get greedy. I am aware it's choppy. And we have got bottoms here, so sometimes it's good to just take a little bit of it and not get too greedy, because a win's a win. And I am aware of this bottom, so where did I get in and out there? So I'm out there just before the bottom. I mean, really, you want to be getting out before here, really, and I did. I like getting out where the body ends, not necessarily the... so the body ends there. So, and I'm a tick above it, so 6 ticks is all right for me. I'm happy about that. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. Cheers, guys. But yeah, have a look later, see if Penguin does take that, but I'd be pretty sure he'd take that. It's one push up, come back down, a little bit of sideways, another push up, straight away, moved across, dropped, ended up bearish. So let's have a look. It's good to have a few extra strings to your bow if you can spot these things. It's quite a... We haven't broken the new low there, so it's quite a... that's quite clear to me, Penguin, I think. So 1.7 plus 1.5 points. Happy days. All I'm out is getting out before the lows here because I know there's some resistance there. Yeah, absolutely. Who said that? Let me have a look. Fell breakout, Chad, yeah. I noticed it was going sideways there, so there's a little bit of sideways there, and it broke out. I just liked how bearish it was when it broke above here, but more it was about one push, two push failure. I mean, it's better really if it pushes out and actually closes above here. Really, at least you've got a bit of distance there. But I'm all right with that. It might not be everyone's cup of tea. That's another thing I've noticed over time as well. Everyone's got their own slight. I think as you grow as a trader, you get your own. You get your own slight, way of doing things. And I've said this for a while now. I've asked Mac a couple of times, and I know other people have, to show us his trades, and he's always neglected to. And that's fair enough, but I can't think of a reason why, apart from he teaches us a certain structured way. Do it this way, take this, take that. But as you grow and develop a trader, you naturally notice patterns, and he'll be taking trades that don't necessarily follow the rules. And if he starts telling people and posting them, he's going to get ripped to shreds. People are going to go, well, hold on a minute, that's not what you teach us. But when you grow as a trader and you sit and watch these markets all day long, you notice stuff. And when you notice something do the same thing again and again and again, you'd be a fool not to take it. So that's the only reason I believe that he doesn't show us his trades, because, that's his basic, it's like teaching you to drive. Then you go away and you really learn how to drive on the road, don't you? And you build your own sort of habits and your own ways of doing things. So that's why I believe he doesn't show us. But to me, after that one push up and the second push up and that quick bearish drop there, for me, it's worth a trade. What did it come down? I'd say that came down at least 2 points, didn't it? Excuse me a sec. So that dog's barking. Yeah. I mean, I would have got out before these lows anyway, and it comfortably broke before the lows. I got out for 6 ticks, which was up here, 0.5. So leg down, interesting. I didn't take it, but if I did, I would have targeted the lows of the teal channel here. Yeah, I think from our trader point of view, our strategy, although I've actually said that's more of a penguin. Generally, that's where I'd want to get out. It's not to say it can't go down, but I know that area there is played a significant part in the day, so there is that possibility it could just drop below and bounce. So what I tend to do, some people have said how many points you go for. I tend to judge each trade on its merit. Now, if we had this leg down here and we had one leg up, a second leg up, and a beautiful second entry short, and it was here, and there was like 5-6 points to the lows, I'd probably go for 4 points or 4 or 4.5 points. So I tend to judge it on what I'm seeing. Now, this leg up, we had a second entry long. Sorry, we had a leg up, we had a break, we had 2 perfect legs down and a push up. That's the type of area where I'd look for a higher low. And if you can get a higher low in there, you've got a good chance of getting some decent. So if that had triggered below, which I think it did on another chart, you've got the possibility of 5.5 points. So even if you get out at these highs at the bar, you got 3.5 to 4 points. So I tend to, work out what I want to take based on what I'm seeing. But because of all this and because of the lows here, I'd rather just grab something, you know what I mean? 2 accounts though, 1 account on each. After fees, it's got me $140. So look, who are you talking to? Welcome to the stream. Who are you talking to there, Nemus? Time to blow these accounts blow up. I'm reincarnated. So it may just continue down. But it's just one of those days today. There has been a lot of chop. He doesn't blow things up anymore. Yeah, it's quite a bouncy old day. I don't know if there's anything else that I can see there that I would have taken. I think that probably interested me. It is a failure, and I like the way, well, technically it's not because that's a tick, but I like the way after we've broken below this line that's pushed up. So thinking back, I'd have probably put a short under that bar there and taken it on the engulfing. And that worked nice, but there is, you can see that bit of support and resistance there, and it's playing a part, isn't it? But I like the way that triggered, and after going sideways, breaking below this support line and then closing above it, I'd be surprised if there wasn't a few traders there going long. So as it triggered and came down, thinking back, obviously, at the time, you just, sometimes you don't think, dear, markets move quick, and but then I'd probably put an order below there. And that obviously clearly came down for plenty, and the rest possibly. Ooh, look at that. Second entry short there. Tempting, but we've bounced off these lows a bit, and it is a bit sideways, so unfortunately it's not something I'm going to take. But if it finishes really bearish, excuse me, it may work, because we are still making lower highs. But you've got to be careful, because there's a lot of congestion, and we have bounced, so we could come up, trap some shorts, and push up again. So that's something that's not for me. Yeah, because of this. But you know what I was saying. It's sort of a visual sort of short. What was it? Is that what I was talking about? Was it that one there? What are we talking about? This one here, weren't we? Yeah, 1, 2. Yeah, it is. But it sort of looks like a failure. What I mean is it's come down a few times and it's trapped along. But yeah, I get what you're saying, because of this little pop above there. See, you'll hear Mac talk a lot about a visual second entry long. Why can't you get a visual failure? That's what I want to know. It looks like it. We got this push. We got that one, and we got that one, haven't we? But yeah, I get what you're saying. How long we've been going? Coming up 3 hours. Do you know about how many trades you take per week? It varies. I would say I probably average around 5 or 6 a week, between 5 and 7 a week. Not a lot. My thought is, if I can get 1 trade a day with 2 points on 1 contract, that will give me an average of $2,000 a month. Now, if you can do that, and you have 10 of these PA accounts, I've got 2, you have 10, that's $20,000 a month. That is a huge amount of money, $20,000 a month. A huge amount of money. So I tend to I don't have a monetary target. because I think sometimes it can force you into squeezing a trade when you probably want to believe in it. But so I'd probably go for somewhere around about the half a dozen. I'd say sometimes I'd take a couple, but I'd say somewhere between sort of 4 and 8 a week, maybe somewhere around about there. If you say average, probably 6. About 6 a week, something like that. It doesn't sound like a lot, really, does it? But you don't need a lot. You really don't. It's quality, not quantity. Okay, so we've got a leg and a leg. I can't take that, although we are making... It's really going to have to come down. So that is a bit of a fail breakout from there, but I just don't like what it's doing. It could be trapping some shorts. Will it work? Probably. But we've just bounced below here, see, so we could be working up, and it could. Sometimes it'll do that. You'll see all the shorts there, and all of a sudden, woof, up it will go. It's just a bit too choppy to me, and it's quite low there. That one I like because of a penguin style, leg down. We've got clearly a channel down here. We made one attempt to go higher, clearly another attempt to go higher, and rejection. So for me, that was coming down to the lows. But this, I'm just not a fan of it. I can pretty much look at something now and I get a feel of whether I like it or not. And this is just, I don't like it. The way that's triggered and coming up. Rightly so, stay out of it. There you go, see. So you get used to seeing stuff. Now, you could say it's a fail breakout of this, which this one was, but they look completely different. I don't like the wicks here. And we've already done this once, 1 attempt, 2 attempt, and come down, and we've already broken below where a lot of the day hasn't. It's only broken below there once, and since the overnights. So after that's pushed down there and pushed up, and not only that, you've got a higher low which is triggered. I think it's dangerous to do that, and rightly so. So that's what I mean, you know, as you sort of develop, you get used to having areas that just don't look right. And that one, I could tell straight away, I don't like the look of it. And that would have saved me a loss. So, see, there could be a bigger bit here. There's a big bullish bar there which triggered, so there is a possibility that may come down. And if you just open that up a bit, let's put that like that. Yeah, look at that. I think there's a good chance that's going to get stitched as well. Look how quick that's just dropped from that line. May trap some shorts and push up, but this is trap city to me. I wouldn't be confident in there because going along into that, look at that resistance above there. I'm not saying it's not going to work because we've already been right to the lows and beyond. But that's what I mean. Remember I mentioned trapping shorts. Short there, trapped, stopped out. Short there, trapped. That may push up and stop you out. So that's what I mean. Sometimes it traps shorts and then woof, up it goes. So you just get better at noticing areas that just look a bit dodgy. I'm sure Penguin got the concept down. He's still got to learn some of the... He actually he has a really good win rate. I think he averages... Let me see if I got an email from him. I still get emails. Let me have a look. He's got an average of... Let me have a look. Around about 6 points a day. And when was this one? 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, this was a bit earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes that. But he goes for 1-to-1 and likes to be out for the lows, so he may not. I'm not really too concerned about the 1-to-1. 1 push up, 2 push up, big rejection there, and it went down. I think it was about 2 3/4 points. Yeah, so if you went short there, thinking lower lows, triggered you, stopped you out. You went short there, triggered you. I think that's likely to stop you out. We're still a tick off the top here. Not bad for Penguin. Yeah, Yeah, you see what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Sometimes it sucks in shorts. Trigger just stopped you out. Trigger just stopped you out. So it's just a bit choppy now. In fact, I've been going 3 hours now, have I? Yes, just over 3 hours. I'm going to knock it on the head for the day, actually. So win's a win. I'm up a 1.5. That'll do me on 2 accounts as well. So my first account's had a nice start. You could be our local. You could be our resident comic. Yeah, all right. Good day for me. 0.5, green's green. I'm happy about that. So my win rate now is slightly above 85%, and my average is about 2.3 points. So the trouble is, when you get a decent win rate and you want to keep it, sometimes you get out of a trade earlier than you want because you want it to win. And sometimes, you know, even if you get a point, it's a win and it keeps that win record up. So at some point, I've got to think more about letting the trade go rather than having a win, even if it's a point. But it's still holding there, isn't it? But yeah, I'm going to go and have my dinner. So good day, Exponential. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Good day today. A bit choppy, not a huge amount around. A couple of trades around. I dare say Mac will probably find about 20. But he hasn't helped us today, has he, by posting the daily again. But there you go. So I appreciate your comments. I'll be back same time tomorrow, Thursday. Another week nearly done. So have a great evening. Stay safe, and I will chat to you all tomorrow, guys. Take it easy.